Hey there, Paul Richards again, drum teacher at Martin Music. I want to talk about how to tune a drum. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can, but there are some important aspects to doing this that I want to make sure we're clear about. One, of course, is to make sure you have a tuning device. This is a tuning key for tuning the drum. It fits perfectly over the top of the tension rods, and we need to have that in order to tune our drum. The drum itself is made up of a shell. Okay, we have a hoop or counter hoop that's on the top that holds down the head onto the shell, and we have our tuning rods, which we use to tune the drum, and they go into these drum casings here, and that's what we use to tighten up and get the drum in tune. So again, we have a drum head here already in place. I'm going to take this drum head and place it over the shell, over the top of the bearing edge of the shell, just like this. And what I want to do is I want to get this hoop lined up so that I can get these tension rods perfectly lined up in the casings. And I'm just going to place these tension rods right into the tuning casings, just like this, on the drum. And I'm going to tighten these initially, just finger tight. I don't want to start with any tension on the drum when I tune it. I want to make sure I keep everything very equal, side to side. You notice I'm tuning one across from the other. I'm never tuning around sequentially at this point. That's very important. And what I'm going to do after I've got these down to finger tight, and notice I can do it two hands. This is good for coordination. I think it's a great idea for working on coordination. I've got the drum finger tight, and you'll notice I can press on the head. Just gives enough. You can see there's some wrinkles in that drum head there. That's fine. That's enough tension for me to get started. Now, there's one thing that's important that's there's a lot of controversy still around, which is the idea of seating of the drum head. Now, today, drum heads are manufactured much better than they were in the olden days when I started playing. In fact, I played calfskin heads, and those were extremely difficult to tune, and I had to go through a lot of maintenance just to keep them tuned. Whereas today, with the Mylar type of drum head, it's so much easier to care for and to tune as a result. But seating the drum head, for me, means to get the drum head so that it is equally tensioned around the drum. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure in the center of the drum while I've got it just finger tight, and I'm going to press down very firmly, but not try to push too hard. And then I'm going to start tensioning up the rods. And what I like to do is use a specific pattern. I never tune in sequence when I'm doing the larger tuning part, which is the early part of the stage of tuning. And I'm going to start by tensioning, and I don't turn much more than a quarter to a half of a turn with my drum key. And I come straight across. I'm going to next one over, and I'm going to work around in a clockwise motion because I like time. What can I say? I'm a drummer. I keep moving around and across, and eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this drum head tight enough that I can start getting a sound, just like that. Okay? Let's hit that with a drumstick. Okay? I'm starting to get a little bit of pitch, still a little bit loose. I'm going to go back, do some more tightening, more tensioning. Same idea, working this pattern around and back and forth across the drum until I get to the point where I have it close to a tone that I feel that the drum sounds good. Let's hear that. Now we're getting closer. Let's try a little bit more tuning. And what I want to do now is keep, did you hear that? That was the sound that I was waiting for. Now we've got some tone. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some fine tuning. And I like to do mine sequentially. In other words, I'll start with a tuning or a tension rod and start tuning them, and I'll tune them very, very small amount of tension and work my way around the drum this way. And as I work it around, I'm going to keep listening to the sound that I'm getting until I come to a point where the pitch or the tone of the drum sounds nice and open. I'm also going to take time to just tune up the other side, which is as important. Now, we've got two sides to any kind of a drum. We have the side which is our batter side, which is the side that we strike, and then we have what we call the resonant side. That's the side that we get our sound from the drum, the tone, if you will. And what this does is this vibrates in time or together or in harmony, if you will, with the batter head. So I want to make sure I tune that drum head as well. Again, I'm going to do the same process put the head on, seat the head. I've already got this pretty much finger tight. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing on this side of the drum and work my way up to the point where I get some pitch. Again, I'm using the same pattern initially, which is working around and across so that I'm tuning the drum head equally from side to side. And when I'm doing this, I'm still using a pretty small amount of turn on the drum key. Okay, now let's see. Listen to that. Alright, we've got some tone on the resonant side and some tone on the batter side. And what I would do at this point is I just do some fine tuning. And again, the fine tuning part is working in sequence, very small adjustments. And I'm just going to take it one turn around. Okay? And that'll basically get your drum head on the drum. I've got enough tension here that I can start doing really fine tuning. My idea of fine tuning is to work around from each of the tension rod points while I muffle very lightly the center of the drum. Once you've done that, you can tune up to each one of the tension rods until you get the same tone on each rod. Do the same thing on the other side of the drum and make sure that you can get them as closely matched to begin with between the heads. That'll give you a nice big round tone. What does that mean?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh, see, I get direction now. Okay, ready? I'll give you 3, 2, 1. All right, 3, 2, 1. And so now my drum is basically tuned and ready to put on the drum set and start playing. Again, make sure when you buy a drum head, you buy a head that is appropriate for the style of music you're going to play. There are different types of drum heads out there. We're all different coatings, there are different thicknesses, there are double ply, single ply. There's all kinds of choices out there, but the bottom line is that the music is what shows or demands what I use, okay? Thanks very much.